Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new actual play. We're very excited. Welcome to Deeds of Violence, which is our our fun-loving, high political intrigue campaign set in the Forgotten Realms. This is our first ever session. We have played a few beginner one-shots, which have been recorded and may be released later, but it's our first time ever playing together, which is very exciting. And I think before we properly get started, we should introduce ourselves and meet these lovely players. As usual, we have our typical setup, which is, "Hello, I'm blank, and I'm the person that blank." I'll start. "Hi, I'm Maddie, and I'm the person that worships the altar that is fandomwiki.com. If I didn't have her, I would have been dead a long time ago. Thank you." Next, we have Steph.
Hi, I'm Steph, and I'm the person that currently at 8 a.m. has already had 2 Red Bulls.
Real. Zach.
Hello, I'm Zach William Smith, and in this country, but am I really? Does that count?
Who knows? Val.
Hi everyone, I'm Valiant Dorian. I use he, his pronouns, and I'm the person that woke up at 4:45 a.m. and made my husband call me at 5 a.m. to make sure I woke up.
I respect the paranoia, and I also felt the paranoia. Amazing. James.
Hi everybody, I'm James, and I'm the person that's here to prove that cunt is stored in the useless gloves.
Period.
Oof,
And finally,
those are excellent.
Joy.
Hi, I'm Joy Valentine, pronouns she, his, and I'm the player that worked 8 hours in this very chair before starting this stream.
Hell yeah. I like the commonality of you either woke up 2 minutes ago or you just came home from work, and they both have similar attitudes. It's a beautiful thing. Well, welcome, everyone. Before we get started, some quick announcements and important things. First of all, content warnings. Hey, you know when I mentioned that this was a high political intrigue campaign? Yeah, that comes with a couple of content warnings. So if you're watching this on a VOD, it's going to be in the description below. If you're watching this live, it's currently in the chat. But it's just a link to a Google Doc that has a list of the most commonly suspected themes and content warnings. We don't know exactly which ones are going to show up when, but in general, just for everyone's comfortability in the way that I like to do campaigns, even though it's political intrigue, we stay away from fantasy violence, fantasy racism, in real life racism, and any kind of xenophobia related to gender, sexuality, or anything like that. So if that rubs you the wrong way, don't worry about it. Instead, we're just dealing with classism, fascism, and kind of just hating people from different cities just because you don't like them. Not because of the way that they look, which is where true hatred should stem. Spite. Apart from that, do please check it out because we are dealing with some rougher themes and we want to keep you as safe as can possibly be. Another thing is that, as previously mentioned, this is set in the Forgotten Realms. That means that we are playing with a canon that already exists. A canon that I did not write. This is not homebrew. Oh, no. We're practically writing fan fiction together, kind of improvised fan fiction. But I am a person with a degree from a university, which means I know how to Harvard reference the house down boots. And if you want to fact check me, here is my Harvard reference list of sources that I used to write this campaign. I will say, spoilers beware if you go in. Some of it, if you aren't familiar with the history of the Moonsea, you might get spoilers for this campaign. It's all very second edition core, and if you do know what's going to happen next, shut up. Let people figure it out for themselves. But in general, I just want to shout out a few authors. Ed Greenwood, hey, thanks for inventing this world. Love you, good man. And also there is a novel by Brian M. Thompson that was my main point of inspiration. I will not say the title, it is a spoiler, but it's in the list if you want to look at it. But yes, very much. I do not take. This is fan made content from me, a massive fangirl of these stories. So thank you to the people who invented a lot of these characters and a lot of these awesome plot points. I'm so happy that I get to play around in them. Also, if anyone wants to tell me that this is just campaign 4 of Critical Role, to that I say, yeah. What are you gonna do about it? All right, next up, we have a word from our sponsor. Zach, take it away.
Absolutely, yes. This campaign is all about tyranny, treachery, treason, and they are all heavy themes in this campaign. But do you know what else those have in common? Tea. Yes, which leads us to our sponsor for this episode. It's D&T. D&T is a small team of TTRPG lovers who make nerdy themed tea to enrich your gaming experience with their high quality and freshly blended brew. Each blend draws from original world building and comes with lore, tasting notes, and an in-game ability for your next session. They also have a tea infuser with a little D20 on the end, which is really cool. Works really, really nicely. I've been using D&T personally since I found them at a con. I've bought their entire flight of dragon teas. You have Yunnan, Gunpowder, Ki Moon, and Gemaicha. They are all absolutely stunning. As a British person, it is my whole personality, so it has to be good tea. And I make that known to everyone I meet. To support this incredible small business and get an excellent discount, head to dnt.store and use the code VIOLENCE at the checkout for 15% off. You can find the handy link in the chat or in the description below if you aren't watching live. Also, make sure to follow D&T Co. on socials. That's where they are everywhere, and tell them the cast of Deeds of Violence sent you. So, thank you to D&T for sponsoring this first episode.
Yes, please, huge shout out to D&T who helped fund the production for this first episode. And in particular, a little thing you might notice in the bottom corner here, which may or may not be our awesome character art. So huge shout out to D&T for helping us always promote human-made art. No AI was used in the making of this campaign. Everything is human-made art. If you see a piece of art on the screen, even the one in the opening, that was like 3D made in like Blender. It was crazy. Like human made the house boots always. So shout out to D&T for that, and shout out to our incredible character artist Anna Fedita, who did an incredible job. I'm sure if you saw them in full on socials, you can see them in their full glory. They are full pieces of art. You can find them on all of our Instagrams. They are so pretty. Oh, she did such a good job. I'm obsessed with them. I'm going to talk about it forever. But thank you so much to Anna. Please follow her everywhere. I'm sure you already do. She's incredible and amazing. All right. With all of that said and done, I think it's time we get stuck in. Welcome to Faerun. The year is 1366, and much of the continent lives in relative peace. It has been 8 years since the time of Troubles, a cataclysm that saw every god cast from the heavens and forced to walk Toril as mortals. It was the punishment the overgod Ao after the thefts of the Tablets of Fate, and when the dust settled, gods had fallen. Among them 2 deaths would shape this story more than any other. Mystra, whose death caused the Weave to collapse for a time, and Bane, the Black Lord of Tyranny. But after Bane's death, a power vacuum was left across the Moonsea, and many of his temples fell to the newly ascended Lord of Lies, Cyric, whose influence spread across the cities like a plague. But one city never bent: Mulmaster, the city of danger. Carved into the rocky slopes where the Earthspur Mountains meet the Moonsea, Mulmaster rises behind towering grey walls that have weathered wars and brutal northern winters. Its harbour is a maze of narrow channels crowded with merchant ships and war galleys, protected by towering gatehouses, massive drop chains, and batteries of catapults. From afar, it is magnificent. A skyline of pale stone walls, alabaster towers, countless rooftops climbing towards the majestic roofs that overlook the entire Moonsea. The illusion fades the moment you pass through its gates. The docks are crowded, filthy, and reek of fish, smoke, and sewage. Rotting buildings lean over narrow streets where criminals thrive, and the occasional floating corpse draws little attention. As the city climbs the mountainside, the air grows cleaner and the streets wider. High walls separate the wealthy from the poor, merchant estates and crowded slums, until finally, at the city's highest peak, the ruling families live in luxury within the towers of the Blade. Up here, the guards are well paid, the law bends to wealth, and the cries of the poor are carried away by the cold wind. It is the golden month in Mulmaster, a brief, deceptive stretch between summer and winter, where the air is cool enough to breathe and the icy winds don't kill. An outsider might look upon the city during these few precious weeks and think it fertile. They might look at the crowded markets, the smoke rising from the foundries, the ships crowding the harbour, and think this is a place where things grow. They would be wrong. Nothing grows in Mulmaster except Mulmasterites. The city grinds everything else into dust. It takes kindness and calls it weakness. It takes generosity and calls it foolishness. It takes ambition, patience, spite, stubbornness, and determination and sharpens them into something ugly. We see two figures trading blows on top a training yard overlooking the Moonsea. One of them is an older figure, a taller man, probably 6'3". He would be in his mid-40s at this point, though he has started to grey quite early in his life. He has a neatly trimmed beard, longer hair that was once blonde. He is dressed in finery, though his armour is well worn, as is his sword. He is not the type of noble to not know how to hold himself in a fight. And on his other side, meeting him blow for blow, we have Radan. Val, would you like to describe for us what your character looks like in this moment?
Absolutely. Swinging his pole arm to meet a blow from this older gentleman, we see a muscular half-elf dressed in plate armor. His plate armor is beautiful, intricate, and adorned with the shoulder pauldron of a jackal-head. He wears also the helmet of a jackal-headed figure, with a cage covering the main part of his face. But behind that, we see a half-elf with warm brown skin, fiery red hair, green eyes, and strong brows. And as he maneuvers past the many blows of this surprisingly agile and powerful man, we see him repivot and have to rotate his pole arm to create space for himself as he steps forward to lunge again.
And after a few blows, you do start to realize that it has been a few months since you've had a chance to train with Lord Greysteel. And for a brief moment, you actually think you might be beating him. And as soon as Astar realizes this, he immediately plays dirty, and you feel him, like the back of his sword just hit you straight in the stomach as you like cough out and kind of roll over before his blade meets your neck, and he just laughs.
Now that's what I get for getting cocky.
You've improved, I'll give you that. And he offers his hand to help you up.
Ridan takes it. He smiles and he lifts the jackal head off of his face, and we see that handsome health elven features, face carved out of what feels like marble, a visage of elven stories of yore, of elven beauty. And he looks towards Lord Greysteel with a smile. That means a lot coming from you. I forgive me, I'm excited. It's been so long. We go again?
Why don't we take a quick break? I was wanting to talk to you about something.
Well, certainly, my lord.
The playfulness kind of fades into a familiar kind of tiredness of someone who has not lived that many years, but is old with what has occurred in those years. He kind of, muscles slowing down, just moves to sit on one of the rocks overlooking the ocean, expression a little bit sad. Kid,
My lord?
I don't think I'm long for this world anymore.
There's a seriousness that knits and tenses in Ridan's face as he sets his helm aside and leans forward towards his mentor. My lord? Someone out for your life? Who schemes against you? We can post guards. My friends will certainly help.
Shut up. I mean, I have had a blade pointed at my back ever since for 20 years now. There's only so long I can go fighting those things off. And you have your stations, and I have my own people to keep safe. And I recognize that I'm getting slower. I know I'm not that old, but I mean, in Mulmaster, I'm practically ancient. The fact that I've managed to be a blade this long without someone slitting my throat behind my back is a miracle.
Credit is what it is, my lord.
Do you know, how I became a blade?
You saved His Grace's life. You earned it.
Yeah, something like that. I think I was probably just in the way. Right place at the right time, something like that.
I doubt there's a better person that could have been there at the right place and at the right time, my lord.
Have you ever left the city?
Ridan pauses. And then he shakes his head. No, my lord. The poor don't get to travel.
Funny, isn't it? Been asking and haven't met many who have. You're a good kid. You've got a good heart. And I know that even if people don't always agree with you, you know what's right. I saw that in you when you were young, which is why I took you under my wing. And after I'm gone,
Don't say that, my lord.
I want you to take care of yourself. Take care of the people around you. Remember what's important.
Why does this sound like a goodbye? like an imminent goodbye.
Like I said, I don't think I'm long for this world. And you need to stop. He's not gonna give you any more. Rickman, you've been trying for hours. He doesn't know anything. Just stop. You're wasting your time. The sky kind of turns red for a moment as your entire head kind of lilts. You can't quite see. Everything's blurry. You smell the damp. You hear the dripping, and for a second you think you might be drowning. But then you swallow, and the pain becomes sharp again as some of your nerves come back online. But then there is relief. The swelling around your eyes fades enough that you can see again. You see the potion bottle, a few drops of red down the bottom, is brought away, and you can see a single eye meeting yours. Around you is the dampness of the deep dungeon that you haven't seen the outside of in the last 48 hours. Kneeling in front of you is a well-dressed gentleman who you had never even knew existed prior to this. He almost looks too young, probably in his early 30s. Longer black hair. He might have been handsome if it wasn't for the scar down the side of his face, an eye hidden by an eye patch, and the other just dead and cold and studying you like a shark looking at a fish. He cocks his head. Behind him, a cloak wizard stands with a spellbook that he closes, the hum of divination magic fading. Well, you lasted longer than I expected. I must commend you. Mulmaster is fortunate to possess such loyal soldiers. What does Pradan actually look like in this moment?
Battered, broken. We see that beautiful chiseled face of marble, of elven beauty shattered. We see scars breaking down his forehead, down his nose and face and lips. Someone in this dungeon got very carried away, or very enthusiastic in breaking Mulmaster's poster boy. His face is dirty from being pounded into the cold stone of the dungeon. We see bruises around his eyes. We see him not in his glorious jackal helmed armor. We see him in simple clothes, chained, and his hair falling over his face.
I imagine discovering that your mentor was a Zhentarim traitor has been difficult. It was difficult for all of us. Unfortunately, the High Blade has entrusted me with the protection of this city, and such duties oftentimes require unpleasant methods. There is another dose if you'd like it. He sort of waves over to another healing potion that's currently out of reach. The fingernails usually return in 6 hours.
Pradan looks towards healing potion. And all he can see within that glass is the warm eyes of his mentor, Lord Greysteel. Zhentarim traitor. And as words and memories bleed and melt into liquid in his brain, all Ridan can think of is don't go. As Ridan lifts his head and weakly, painfully sputters out. You must do your duty, my lord.
I'm so glad you understand. Take the morning to rest. I'll arrange a lighter posting for you tonight. I hope for your sake that we never meet again. And he raises himself up tall, the brooch of a hawk at flight resting on his lapel. The hawks themselves are sort of like a myth in a way. People know that Selfaril has his own sort of private army of a sort, but no one knows what any of them are called, and some of them don't even think the hawks exist. And you currently, right now, are face to face with the Hawk Master himself, the leader of these assassins, whose one and only purpose is to protect the borders of Mulmaster by any means necessary. Melka Rickman is his name, as you have learnt. He rises and looks towards the cloak, a older man, familiar enough to you. He has been a cloak for as long as you can remember, and from what you understand, he has been here even longer than Thurndal Tallwand, who is the current senior cloak. His name is Mason McKern. He is sort of hunched over and looks pitiful towards you. Well, that was a waste of time. The older man kind of glares at him. We have nothing. 48 hours to discover the soldier was telling the truth. And the Hawkmaster just kind of shrugs and, all these things take time, McKern, you know this. And he sort of leads the man out of the dungeon. In fairness, I only received your request this morning. Did you? Apparently someone misplaced the paperwork. Mulmaster bureaucracy. A threat greater than the Zhentarim. Had I arrived 2 days ago, we would have reached the same conclusion. A shame. And right as they're about to make their way out, you do hear something, Herdan, that sort of perks your ear. Do we have her? Yes, the wife is upstairs. A gentler touch is advised. Does she have children? No. Disappointing.
And fear writhes in Rudan's body. He wants so desperately to just get up there, see her before, but he can't. He thinks about getting up, putting on a good show, saying that he will walk out of here a proud soldier, but 6 hours for the nails to grow back. His knees buckle, and all he can sputter out and say very weakly is, My Lady Greysteel.
The Hawkmaster's head kind of snaps towards you. And he seems amused. I'm sorry, are you actually talking? What was your name again?
Ervin. Redan. Ervin. And Redan lifts his head, the only part of his body he can move, to look the Hawkmaster in the eye.
Let me help you with that.
Sir, Redan. Ervin.
He sort of creeps forward and picks up the healing potion and holds it out to you before he just tosses it against the wall and it shatters. Perhaps you can lick it off of the floor. Someone will collect you soon.
As you command.
Yes, I do. And he breezes out, already washing the blood from his hands, as you are left alone to recover in a deep, dark dungeon, the spells that pierced into your mind still ringing with the best memories of your mentor. We now go to a different part of the city at a similar time period. We go up to the lavish halls of the Towers of the Blade. These beautiful towers that spire out and hold the homes and families of the 16 blades of Mulmaster. In this particular society, there are 49 nobles, 16 blades, and 1 high blade. The 16 blades are the innermost council. They vote for all of the laws to be passed in Mulmaster, but coincidentally, most of the people who don't tend to agree with the high blade tend to find themselves in a shallow grave. So most tend to go with what the high blade wants. And one of these blades is a man by the name of Titus de Lune Nacht, who currently is calling for his 2 children to meet him for an urgent meeting in his drawing room. As both enter, Joy, if you would, I'd love you to describe what Amal looks like, but I'd also like you to describe what the rest of your family looks like as they gather in this room together.
Oh, of course. Amal is 5'5", dark-skinned, with dark hair that is black, but in the light it looks like a midnight blue, just like the night sky. And she has a ton of it, so it's always tied up in different configurations on her head. Today it's one big high bun, and then the rest kind of braided and flowing behind her. She's in a gown that is so impractical, difficult to walk in, but it looks good. Where she looks very refined, like a little princess, her father looks like what you would imagine the boogeyman looked like if he was attempting to go outside for the first time. Just so dark. He looks like rich dirt after rain. Stern face, as if he's never laughed before in his life. There are no smile lines, nothing is funny. And he's huge, just like 6'7", 6'7", and horrifying. Her brother, on the other hand, immensely slight man, looks like a stiff breeze would take him out. Looks just like his sister, which I think is fascinating. So feminine in that way as well. She has very doe-like features, and he has them too. You can see different scratches and scrapes on him as if he's gotten into a bunch of fights with people, probably because they pointed out he looks just like his sister. And where she is dressed well, it kind of looks like he heard his father yelling for him and then picked up trousers and a nice shirt, but nothing matches. And that's the little Delunanacht family.
Incredible. You all make your way out. Your brother looks like he is severely hungover, but I don't think you've ever not seen him hungover or drunk in the last 7 years. He kind of slumps in one of the seats, kind of lazily cocking his head at your father, as Titus tries his best to keep his expression away from disgust and neutral, as he knows that this is a very important moment for your family. A seat has opened on the 49. A blade has fallen.
Who, Father, if you don't mind me asking?
Details can be discussed later. You two have your roles. One of you is destined to sit as a noble, as is your right, and the other will wed someone powerful to secure yourself after I am gone. Amal, we should begin your campaign immediately. This
Of course.
immediately causes a flood of tension to hit the room as Nox, your older brother's head snaps up, eyes wide. I am the eldest. I am the son. And your father's head snaps to meet his, and that gaze that has allowed Lord Delundanuk to stay in power for as long as he has withers your brother completely. I would have helped you in a campaign, but I find all of the money that I would have spent has been used sending your bastards to Cormyr. And your brother very quickly shuts up. Amal is the most appropriate to represent our family. She has studied, and it is not age, nor name, nor wealth that earns you power in Mulmaster. It is the willingness to take it, and a lack of naivety. Amal, this time is important. As you know, there are plenty of people your age who will be fighting for this seat. Another opportunity will not come easily. And there are, realistically, plenty of people far more qualified than you are. You must be better.
I am, and I will be, and I will continue to be, Father. Do not worry. We have prepped for this. I'm ready.
Good. Astar Greysteel is gone. Soon one of the nobles will rise to blade to fill his place, and apparently his wife is most likely going to be either demoted or removed from court until the drama of it all subsides. We do not have full details currently.
Where is Lana now? Lady Greysteel?
I do not know.
Right.
I know that you were close to that family, but I would not advertise that continually. It would not be appropriate.
Understood. Understood. We have to focus on my campaign now. Right.
Yes. There is a knock at the door to your family's lavish entire floor of one of the towers, and one of your servants quickly moves to open the door, and behind it you see, standing slightly nervously in the way, a soldier who is not experienced with dealing with nobility, kind of holding onto his helm and looking very much like a fish out of water. Roll me a history check. First roll.
Yay! 15.
15. You recognize this soldier. This is Abram, who is one of Fredan's fellow soldiers who he works with in the armies rather than at jousts. This is his co-worker, and he looks extremely pale and terrified, not in a way of nervousness, but in a way of complete and utter fear, as he kind of speaks quietly to a servant who sort of seems quite frustrated in a way of like, this is not how this is okay, and turns, and the servant makes her way back in, kind of half closing the door on the soldier. My lord, there is an Abram, a soldier who wishes to speak with Lady Amal. I can turn him away. Amal, do you do anything in this moment?
I think she's close enough with her father that she kind of immediately waves it and is like, it will be quick. Can I just handle it quickly?
Go. And as your father kind of turns away and Nox pushes himself up, and you can already hear the two of them arguing as you move to the doorway, where this soldier kind of stands struggling to meet your eye for a second before he eventually steels himself and looks up. Lady de Lundenacht, forgive me for the impropriety, and it's about Radan.
What of him? Where is he?
That's just it. We have no idea where he is. He's been missing for 2 days.
2 days, and I just hear of it now, and you have no idea where he is.
No one is talking about it. I fear I'm the only one who's even noticed. Everyone speaks of him like he's at a certain event, but then when I go to the event, other people think he's back with me.
Is anyone looking? Is there an envoy or something planned? He can't just be gone.
I thought you might have more luck than just a simple soldier, my lady.
All right. Thank you for telling me. Do you know the last time you saw him, or anyone saw him?
From what I am aware, he was working in South Road Keep.
All right. Thank you. I will find him. We will find him. Thank you for bringing this to me. I will make sure you are rewarded.
No need. I just want my friend to be safe. If you need anything, all of us are willing to help, and we will keep an eye. I will send word if we hear of anything. Thank you.
Thank you.
He kind of nods and quickly moves away, keen to get out of this particular quarter where he feels he does not belong. There are soldiers like Hradan who make their way into being bodyguards and guards of various nobles, but it is a learning journey to get used to the lavishness that a simple soldier is bewildered to experience for the very first time. Amal, what do you do?
I think she returns back to the room where her father and Nox are, just so she can let her father know she's leaving.
I think roll me a persuasion check to see if your father trusts you enough not to ask further questions.
That's an 18.
I think he narrows his eyes slightly but nods. He is aware of how close you were to the Greysteels, and he knows that he has warned you. And he also knows that it would be better to get whatever you need to do out of your system now rather than later, so you can become focused. So he waves you off, and as you exit the building, the shouts and complainings between your brother and your father, which are practically white noise now to you after all of these years, continue ever after behind you as you call for a carriage and make your way down through the winding narrow streets towards South Road Keep. The keep is the one thing that isn't either water or completely surrounded mountains and walls. This singular building is the hub and the heart of this city, and it is also the only way that outsiders can pass through on the trade road into the city. So people can only enter Mulmaster if the soldiers there wish it. South Road Keep acts as a city hall. It's where everyone goes to pay their taxes. It's also underground where the prisons are, and above ground is where the barracks are. It is one of the most impenetrable and busiest buildings in the entire city. Constantly filled with people, constantly moving. Loud, smelly, horrifying to a lady of the courts as you make your way over. And as you do, determination set in your face, knowing that you can use your influence, hopefully for good in this moment, demanding answers for where your loyal bodyguard may be. We will transfer over to a different section of Mulmaster. In the main stretch of road in Mulmaster, the market districts, there are many different shops all around selling wares, constant trade. It is busy in this place, and there are constant whispers and deals, and none is more crowded than the Temple of Timora, or it's kind of not a temple, it's more of a casino that has a temple off of the side of it. The gambling rooms of Timora are filled with dice games of luck, along with a huge prize of golden coins that always sit on display in the back, heavily warded and heavily guarded. It is also a kind of way to fund the building and maintaining of the temple, as well as lining the pockets of the various priests who work there. Currently, wading through the various groans and cheers of the common people spending their coin as soon as they get it, we see a figure who does not look like she belongs here. Ralligan. Steph, would you like to describe what your character looks like?
Yes. So Ralligan Gale is not a tall woman, but she holds enough presence to fill a space even when they tower above her. She is still in a way that is certainly not calm, but in a precision sense where every movement that is unjustified or unnecessary is disregarded. She stands all in black, grey, and charcoal, her hair dark and long but frosted with grey, in a way that she clearly does not care about. Vanity is not one of her priorities. Everything about her is a calculated decision. She presents as she exactly wants to present, save for one decoration, a stole around her shoulders, that as she wanders, you can see she grips with the tips of her fingers the very, very end, and that is the only indication of her personal aesthetic in anything other than her just plain regular vestments.
Ralligan, you move carefully through this open casino area and with the confidence of someone who knows exactly where they're going, which is the best way for people not to pay attention to you, you slip into the side rooms. Your vestments show you to be clearly a cleric of some kind, so to be making your way into the temple section of this place is certainly expected. The priests and priestesses recognize you at this point, and despite it being, I guess at the start, strange to see a cleric of Bane within the Temple of Timora so frequently, people have grown to understand that, Ralligan, the position that you hold means that you often communicate with many different parties, and perhaps you're here for information or trade, or to be somewhere expected means that you probably want something, and the citizens of Mulmaster could never punish you for it because they wish the same for themselves. But you slip off to the side, past the priests, and eventually find your way into a secret room opened by pulling down a candlestick until a small, carefully warded away from prying eyes, divination spells, and all other such things, appears before you. And you carefully pull the door shut, just leaving you and one other figure in the room. She has deep brown skin, warm from the sun, from being outside. She has long, dark, slightly wavy hair, large brown eyes. She wears quite oversized priestly robes as a priestess of Timora. The gold coin accents and rich golden colors of her robes, brown's cord tied around her waist, classic and matching with the rest of the priestesses here. But you know, with your very keen observations, that her oversized robes hide a extremely well-muscled, well-worn warrior's figure underneath. Cheslin Onabura and you met 3 years ago, and while you see each other infrequently, occasionally discussing pieces of information that you have gained, she has become somewhat of a lifeline, keeping you from going over the edge in your hatred for what your church has become, what your city has become. Come on in. Take a seat.
I would prefer to remain standing, but again, I note you're welcome.
All right. She's kind of used to you at this point. She clears her throat. We have some news. Updates. We have a contact that arrived in the city last night. From somewhere else in the Moonsea. We don't know too much. All we know is that he's well connected and shares some of our beliefs. He doesn't know of our presence or anything like that, but my contacts feel fairly confident that he'll be easy enough to bring over to our side. But there is one caveat. He got arrested last night.
You see, as you're saying this, Ralligan still completely still, save for the tiny pulse of a jaw, hearing that there is a hiccup.
Apparently he was acting without a license, which is probably the biggest rookie mistake I've heard in quite a while. They have taxes for everything here. But considering your connections within the prisons, we know that his troop are going to try and bail him out today. I was just hoping you could go in and make sure that doesn't get held up by the lines and forms and all of that. We really don't want him to die of dysentery before we can get to him.
You want me to exert this kind of pressure on someone that sounds to be no more than a fool? Why should I put this energy when we've already had 4 botched executions just this week alone, and I have all of this to file complaints and file records? You want me to exert it for a fool?
From what I understand, he has information that would be vital to us. Information that we couldn't get inside these walls. Information on the Zhentarim and their movements.
You believe this to be valuable for more than pure sentiment?
I don't operate on
Yes.
sentiment. Not after 20 years.
I will see it done, but I want further names should this fool prove unworthy.
Do you have anything for me? What about these executions? What made them so special?
And you see again the pulsing of the jaw, and she's kind of cricketing her hands subtly with the stole, as it's very, very clear how she feels underneath, but the mask remains firm. 4. I counted 11 minutes, somewhat of a record for one single execution. An execution done badly, which is not so much a mercy as the city might choose to believe. It is an insult to the condemned. He was drunk. He was not paying attention. The executioner, despite my complaints, all the complaints have gone where they always go in this city, and they have fallen upon deaf ears or ignorant ears. I have noted the names, I have noted the record, I have witnessed the end, and I will pass all of the information on should you recognize any of them as yours.
I suppose when the executioner worships Leviathan, you can't really expect much more than that.
It's a failing of our duty. I have spoken Bane's words over enough men to fill this city twice. I know the difference between a death that means something and one that doesn't, and these have not meant a thing. Most of what happens in those chambers lately has not.
Understood. There seems to be an uptick. I've heard from one of my contacts out of the taverns that a few fishermen have gone missing. Any of those executed have rope calluses? They did.
Two. They have been witnessed.
Do they still have their tongues?
When I say they were improperly conducted, I mean they were desecrated. So, unfortunately.
Something happened. Someone's trying to hide something. Whether it's someone's come in or someone's left. You want to get rid of fishermen if you're trying to cover a ship arriving. Keep an ear to the ground. If you see anything else, any other silenced prisoners, let me know. I appreciate your help as always.
We have an arrangement. I intend to honor it. I note that your assistance has been valuable in this circumstance, and I will commute the sentence of the fool.
I appreciate it. Good luck.
I do not require.
You leave, and what you don't see is Cheslin kind of leaning against a wall and just whispering to herself, "You need her, you need her, you need her, you need her." As she once again justifies to herself that Ralik and you are in a prime position for information. You exist between the most powerful church and South Road Keep. You work with lawmakers, you work with soldiers, you work with the clergy. You are the golden goose of information gatherers. And for now, while you still hold the same goal, even a cleric of Bane can work with an undercover harper. You make your way towards South Road Keep, and we will transfer over underground, deep underground beneath South Road Keep, where a man sits waiting in his cell, definitely having not slept the entire night that he was here, mainly due to the stench, but also due to your neighbor picking up the bucket that exists to collect refuse in the corner of your cell. He seems to have picked it up and hasn't stopped banging it against the wall for at least 6 hours now. Rune, as you delicately sit in your finery, bewildered as to why you are here, will you describe what your character looks like to us, Zach?
Absolutely. Yes, this is a fairly handsome man. He is tall, around 6 foot on the dot, with a beautiful green coat that stretches down towards his very pristine boots. His hair, kind of cut just around the jaw, flows backwards in a beautifully coiffed manner, dark eyebrows hanging over a hooked nose. And the piece de resistance of this outfit being his wide with a beautiful purple ostrich feather coming out the top, which currently is just folded over his head as he nurses the migraine that is pounding against his head as this bucket is incessantly banged against the wall. As he says, "My dear fellow, could you please cease with the bucket? It is rather tiring to hear non-stop for hours on end. I will give you a performance should you wish. I will tell you a joke if it would stop you."
The banging kind of stops for a moment, and then there is just a small clanging thud, and the cells for a moment seem blissfully silent until you kind of hear the quieter noises of groans of pain and the occasional echoing scream.
My dear man, that usually comes after my performance. What on earth is the matter?
These are just echoing around from all of the cells. At least the one next to you has fallen silent.
I will go and have a peek as to what is happening.
Into what's outside. You kind of move over to the
I'll
cells.
try and crane my head to see if I can, get a closer. I thought it was all bars. I didn't realize I couldn't see.
Yeah. Either side is like stone walls, but then the front would be bars. But yeah, you kind of go to the front, kind of
I'll have a peer around.
just looking around. Roll me a perception check, please.
You got it. Ooh, fairly good. 19.
19. Incredible. You peer around and kind of pick up. There seems to be every couple of cells there is a guard standing, kind of bored, bleary-eyed, everything, the complaints have turned to white noise at this point. The echoing groans are likely those who are dying or being tortured for whatever reason that they need to be. You kind of notice too, the banging had been coming to your left, but you do notice that another figure kind of sits with their arms hanging out to your right. As you kind of look curiously, even upon arriving in the city, very much Mulmaster is heavily populated by humans, as most places of complete greed and corruption are. But you see a dwarven man. He is older, thick, graying beard in... I forget how dwarves age exactly. Do they live to be like 400 or something? That feels right in my... It's like... He's later in life. If human years, he'd be in his like mid to late 70s into early 80s. You can see like the burn marks of old, heavy calluses on his fingers. But it is a dwarf that is without muscle, skin sagging. You suspect that he's been here for a while.
Boy, how long have you been here, my good fellow?
After a while you lose count.
Ah, don't I know it? My goodness, what a long night that was. Whew. I tell you what, I don't suppose you could do me a favor. By the way, Runesvard, pleasure. And who might you be?
Galloway.
One more time, good man, my good man. I didn't quite catch that.
Galloway.
Galloway. A
No,
strong
way.
name. Gallowick. Oh, sorry.
Wait.
The banging
Don't
has
worry.
rather broken my ears somewhat. Well, I tell you what, if you could help me convince one of these guards that I don't belong here at all, I will try and sneak you some roast chicken if I can find it around in the kitchens of this place. Do we have a deal?
I find I've lost most of my methods of persuasion through the multiple months that I've spent here, Boyle.
Oh dear. Months, I see. Okay. Keep calm, Rune. This is not the worst stick you've been in.
What'd you do?
By a long shot. Sorry?
What'd you do?
Oh, it was a terrible misunderstanding, honestly. I was here in this city, beautiful city, by the way, of course, performing one of my lovely performances of The Times of Troubles, a play that I wrote myself, such that Bane himself would cry. Alas, I did not realize that you needed an acting tax for such a performance, and the guards, quick as a whippet, threw me in here. I really don't know what I must have done, but alas,
Probably
I'm sure
not
that a
paid
guard
the
will be along in no
tax.
time.
I wouldn't worry about it too much. You should be out on bail pretty soon. They just like to scare the newcomers into giving them more money.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm rather short of coin myself right now. However, my fame is usually payment enough.
You didn't come with anyone?
My manager was meant to be here. I'm not sure where she's got to. I have to admit, she should be here by now. She usually handles all my managerial and bureaucratic affairs, don't you know?
No. I'm a minor. Don't know much about
You're a minor.
bureaucratic affairs.
You're a minor, but you seem so old.
With a pickaxe.
Oh, right, yes, naturally. Oh, it's not much for manual labor myself, but
Couldn't tell.
good on you. Well, thank you. I keep myself rather clean, or try to. Rather difficult in this place, especially with the bucket of feces that has been thrown about recently.
You get used to the smell, but I wouldn't worry about it. You'll be out soon enough.
And he'll look around the bars. Speaking of which, where is that girl?
About this moment, you do hear the footsteps of a guard start to come down. And I will ask Ralligan, how did you manage to get Rune's manager ahead in the endless lines of because it's definitely all one line, whether you want to pay taxes, get like a license, get married, it's all the bail someone out, it's all the same line, and it's endless. How did you manage to get her ahead?
It's very simple. She has way, and walking up to the front of the line as she greets the person responsible for letting those in, she simply reminds them that they have family in the Docks District, and in the past week alone, I've administered last rites to 3 people from the Docks District, and I simply wouldn't want to make it 4.
Very fair. Upon that, you kind of look out for anyone who looks like they would be here with someone who acts, and very quickly pick them out of the crowd as someone who is not from here. Your insight is good, and you can pick them out rather easily as you see a very nervous little woman, a halfling woman, who is dressed in quite colourful clothing, definitely not weather appropriate. Someone who isn't too familiar with Mulmaster's either absolutely stifling humidity or death cold. She is kind of holding a few like pieces of paper to her chest and is like doing that tourist thing where she kind of like cups her coin bag and is like looking around.
She definitely approaches with a kind of resignation. This is not an ideal interaction for old Ralligan. But she walks up, barely acknowledges anything more than just a glance down. You are here for the actor, I presume?
Me? Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
you.
No,
I am speaking
yeah.
to you.
Oh, great. Can I pay the money now? Because we have to get to a rehearsal in like an hour and a half.
There will be no rehearsal. There will be no further acting without the license. That is why we are here.
I got the money to
first
pay for that
place.
too. I got everything you need. And extra. We have a contract.
I am not negotiating. I am explaining as a courtesy what is about to happen. And what is going to happen is we are going to go and get your man. We are going to exit, and you are going to come with me.
Yeah, okay. Whatever you say, boss. And this woman very quickly and nervously follows you down, getting even more terrified the further down into this dank, awful dungeon that you get. You quickly speak a word to a guard, general description. He's easy enough to find. They probably were like, oh, random, get in a cell. Quickly work your way over, just breezing past the other cells, not even looking inside. They don't matter to you. Until you reach a cell with the man, as described, standing gingerly in front of the bars.
Lucia, my savior, thank you so much. There has been a dreadful misunderstanding, and I am famished. Please get me out of here.
Of course, Mr. Svard, we just have to make sure that the I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
You may refer to me as Gale.
Gale?
Ralligan Gale.
Oh.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think we're getting you out.
Oh, fantastic. And I am at your service, Ralligan Gale. My goodness, aren't you a poor glass of water?
You may cease your flattery. It will not have any place here. I do not see any reason for me to indulge further in that. I'm just waiting for you to finish so that we can
Oh,
carry this out. I see that you haven't.
no,
done.
well, please allow me to introduce myself. I am the famous actor, Rune Svard. And he'll go to kiss your hand. Just like proper introduction, bows. It's very
I
formal.
think Lucia like reaches across and slaps your hand and goes, "Stop it!"
Oh. Force of habit. Not time, not the place, I understand. And can I take a cursory like glance around to see who my cellmates were?
Yeah, of course. You like upon being let out by the guard and kind of walked out and your shackles are taken off, you see this older dwarven fellow. Roll me a history check if you would. I'm not sure if you would know too much about Moonsea history, but it's
I'm just gonna
whether
roll my
he
intelligence. I don't
pays
have
attention.
I don't have actual values on my. I just have my intelligence. So, oh, you know what? Considering my intelligence, 12 isn't bad.
Yeah, I think Ralligan, definitely you would understand exactly where this man would have originated from, especially considering the heavy scarring of likely battle. You imagine that this dwarf is likely from the recently enough taken over Iron Fang Deep, a set of mines that was invaded by the soldiers of Mulmaster, where most of the dwarves within were either demanded to work or driven out, and a few did fight back viciously. It seems like this man must be a veteran of those rebellions.
Master Dwarf, and he'll bow once more. I do hope you get a swift exit from your torment. I apologize. I must away.
He nods, kind of stares coldly at you, Ralligan, before making his way deeper into his cell. On the other side, you see a very peculiar looking figure.
Okay.
There is a quick realization that it wasn't a bucket that had been banging against the wall. Instead, it was this man, he thinks, head. A man sits in tattered clothing, leaning against the side of his cell, and his head is encapsulated entirely in a metal mask. Locked, bolted, welded around his head. There is a very small mouth hole, 2 very slim eye holes, and some room for breathing. But apart from that, he just sits there, looking ahead.
Good God, man, what happened to you?
You can tell how heavy it is. It kind of lolls to the side and he looks at you, says nothing.
Ms. Ralligan Gale, can I call you Miss? How should I address you?
Ralligan is fine and will be sufficient. You will
Ralligan.
not address me with any terms of endearment.
Duly noted. Ralligan, could you tell me more about this creature?
Ralligan, you have never seen this prisoner before.
They have wronged the city. That is all I need know. That is all you need know. We are not here to catalogue the inventory of the jail.
Merely try and introduce myself to those I meet, though I'm not sure what he could have possibly done to deserve this. This feels... Huh. You're the boss, as it were. Uh,
Correct.
is there anything I recognize about? I don't know, something that I would know from my travels. That has this ever happened before? Have I seen anything like this before?
You have never seen anything like this before. I think it's why it's so shocking to you.
Great, terrifying. Good.
It's terrifying
Okay.
to look at.
Yeah.
Probably if I can't remember what game it was. I don't think it was Skyrim, maybe it was something else, but there's like one of the origins that you can choose is a prisoner, and you start out with a massive metal
That's
mask
Elden
on your
Ring.
head. It's Elden Ring. It
Yeah.
looks very similar to that.
Good to know. That is terrifying. Okay. Right. He'll nudge Lucia and just kind of be like, "Don't be like that." Like gesturing, like, "Don't be like that guy." Let's try and keep on the straight and narrow from now on.
Yeah, I got your license paid for, so
Oh,
we
darling,
got that
thank you.
sorted. We don't have a lot of money left.
We didn't have a lot of money to begin with. How much do we have left?
Let's discuss this somewhere else. Come on.
Oh, right. Yes.
And she kind of turns back to you, Relic, and it's like, can we leave?
I have. In a momentary lapse, she's already just. Follow me. Speak to no one. Look at no one. We will go.
The two of them.
To be clear, when she says speak to no one, right, at Rune.
That's
knows.
right, Lucia. Speak to no one.
Oh, God damn it. The three of you quickly make your way out of South Road Keep and into the main thoroughfare, where off to the corner you do see the fast arrival of a very ornate looking carriage and a beautifully dressed noblewoman, not quite noble yet, but noble by family, climb out and quickly make her way into the keep. As you leave, ships in the night. But before we deal with the following of what is happening with this ever passing by and connecting groups, we are going to move much further away to the outskirts of Mulmaster, deeper into the sort of just on the edge of the forests of Cormanthor, and right by the main trade road is a place known to most as the Retreat. It is a school, temple. It's a bit of a mix of everything. It was originally founded to house wizards outside of Mulmaster who wished to work independently. In that, there also came monks from outside of the Yellow Rose Monastery, and eventually, after some time and a few greedy people in charge, ended up becoming a sort of haven for those who had been exiled or on the run from the authorities. And as long as people stayed within the walls and stayed in a relative circle of trust, the Retreat is within Mulmaster's occupation and under Mulmaster's protection, but the two of them tend to leave each other alone. Outside of the walls of the Retreat, something that is only allowed to those who are within the close circle of trust of those in charge, two figures sit by the rocky hills in quiet comfort with each other, just chatting idly. One is a man about 5'11", lithe muscle of someone who works very hard. Tan skin, light brown hair, in a kind of choppy cut, a little bit of a moustache. He is a ranger, works off of the land, works for one of the mysterious owners of some properties just off of the retreat, but comes to the retreat mostly to trade, get food and other things. And the other is a feminine figure. James, would you like to describe what your character looks like?
I would love to. Valaine Vespertine uses she/they pronouns and stands tall and proud at 5'10", a chin always held high, shoulders always back. Her skin is sort of olive undertoned and a medium brown, and her features are all sharp angles. Her eyes are almost colorless, but there are flecks of silver that are the only thing that really kind of differentiates the rest of her eye from her iris. She has very, very long black hair that's always not a hair out of place, very neat. And her clothes are what probably once were very well kept, tidy, not a spot, not a stain. But in her just over 3 years of exile, there are places and corners where things have started to wear, places where weak spots where mending cantrips have been applied over and over and over, and even a little bit of hand stitching here and there. She also carries on her side in a holster a very well worn but also very well taken care of leather spellbook, where like the spine is a little broken and the corners are faded and peeling a little bit, but still very clearly has many years put into it, but hopefully we'll have many more years put into it.
Incredible. Jasper, your kind of closest friend and confidant over the last few years, is kind of looking out, a calm silence between the two of you. I have a surprise for you.
Did you?
We had a merchant come by to stay with the boss, and he had a few things on sale, something I think might interest you.
Jazz, did you buy me a present?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you have to be careful. People are going to start thinking that you like me or something.
Well, then you're not going to like this next part, because it does come with a lot of expectation. But as you know,
All right.
I expect nothing. It isn't what you think it is. And he opens up a ring box and is like, I'm not proposing to you. It is a ring, though. And he takes it out. Roll me an Arcana check.
I would love to do that. That is a 24.
You would recognize this ring with your eyes closed, because it is probably one of the most popular magical items within the city of Mulmaster. You see a ring of mind shielding.
Oh. I think Valaine kind of glances down at it and glances up at them. And there is like a softness. Kind of, I think Jasper's one of the only people who sees a little bit of softness ever on her features. But there's also a tiny bit of like curiosity and suspicion. And are you expecting I should have to shield my mind from someone? Seems a curious, out of nowhere gift. I am grateful, thank you. It's beautiful, but oddly timed.
I think you need to return to the city.
Joy.
You haven't made any progress here, and they could have what you need, and I was just hoping that this could, protect you enough that you could at least stay under the radar for a while. I mean, it's been 3 years. Surely they've got other things to focus on by now. I mean, there's a new princess. Your king or whatever got married.
Yeah, maybe they've run out of rocks to throw at me. I suppose there's one way to find out.
People move on.
If they throw me in jail, will you come bail me out?
Well, I did spend quite a bit of
Right.
gold on the ring, but
Troublesome.
I suppose if I don't hear from you from a few days, I'll start shaking down some trees.
Will you?
It's getting worse. I haven't not noticed.
Troublesome things rarely get better on their own, but I suppose a girl can dream. Kind of like, without thinking, adjusts these very, very long, dark, like pure black gloves that disappear under the hem of her sleeves. Not even really thinking about it, just force of habit. I don't know. I mean, do you think I'd be... I mean, I won't be welcome back, certainly, but I'm a bit apprehensive, to be honest.
I don't think you should go in announcing yourself. That's what the ring's for.
Oh, we should cancel the parade then. Damn. Spent a lot of time on that.
Probably not. But I do know that if you're going to visit the city at any time and fall into the crowds, now is a good time. The Thayan lady arrived 2 days ago, and apparently there's a whole lot of festivities, so lots of new visitors and that sort of thing.
Right. Maybe no one will notice me.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, my name's been struck from all records, so maybe it's been struck from memories too. Worth a shot, I suppose. Any chance I can convince you to come with me? Could be fun. Little trip.
Cities aren't really my style. Plus,
I know.
my boss needs me.
Right, the mysterious work for your mysterious boss. How can I compete, truly?
He's paranoid. He doesn't like people knowing who he is, and he's old.
Yeah, well, old people who've survived Mulmaster famously paranoid, I suppose. I'm not old and I'm paranoid, so... But I guess, is it paranoia if a city full of people hates you? I think that's just sort of...
survival instincts?
caution. Yeah. Anyway, kind of looks back down at the ring. Thank you for this. It's very kind of you.
He kind of furrows his brows and looks up. We should get behind the rocks. And he kind of raises himself up as he notices a group of about 4 horses with cloaked figures. No sign of any symbols or anything, are making their way up the road and towards the retreat. And very soon you would be in their eye line, and he's already kind of scrambling to get a little bit higher so you're not seen from the road.
Sure. I will, before I forget, kind of take the ring. So if he decides he needs to scamper in a different direction, we've sort of settled that. And I will kind of follow their lead and duck into a corner. Do I recognize anything about this group?
Roll a perception check.
Okay. Natural 1.
Period. Absolutely not. They're not wearing any markings of any city or anything.
Okay.
Probably like just hearing the thing and then maybe like drop the ring and you're just like, I'm running, and you like forget to actually look up and look at the thing that you're meant to be looking at, and instead you're kind of behind a rock and you're like, what was it? It didn't look like. I can't tell from here. We should probably stay here for a bit. Could be
All
nothing.
Right. Well, if I'm leaving for the city soon, I will value any extra time that we get, so it's fine with me.
You're getting soft on me, Vespertine.
3 years in exile, I'm spending too much time with Dill, and it's just... I don't know, I've lost my sharp edges, I suppose.
Oh well. If you get in the shits, you know where to find me. I'm sure the boss will be forgiving if you're in strife. Just 2 slow knocks, 2 quick knocks, or he might stab you through the door.
Oh, fun. Right, I will endeavor to remember that. I'd prefer not to get stabbed, just generally, you know. You said 2 slow, 2 quick?
2 slow, 2 quick. He already won't recognize your
Right.
footsteps, so it's best to at least know that you're safe.
It's good to know. What would I do without you? What am I supposed to go do in Mulmaster if you're keeping me from getting stabbed through doors?
Hopefully not stabbed in the back again. Ooh.
Yeah, you know, if we could just sort of generally avoid rocks, stabbings, explosions of any notable size, I think that would be much, much preferred.
Good luck with that, because I don't
Thank
know
you.
if you're going to be too successful, but...
Yeah,
It's
I think I'm already
about
kind of bracing for the
now
rocks.
that the screams start. And we're going to go on break.
Oh, worm?
We'll be back in 10 minutes time. Chill out. Have a fun time. Go to the bathroom. Do what you need to do. We'll be back in just a bit. Bye. hello and welcome back. Now, I may have left us on a little bit of a cliffhanger, and there's an unfortunate reality that you're gonna have to wait even longer as we are going to transfer back to Mulmaster, where Amal, you are quickly rushing through the people and lines, and people kind of recognize who you are very quickly and part like the Red Sea to let you through. What is your plan as you arrive at South Road Keep, only knowing that this was the last place he was spotted?
I think she's going to look for whoever like has connections to the military, or if she knows that someone's a prolific gossip. Those are the kind of people that she's looking for in the room, because they're likely to at least talk to her and tell her if they've seen him.
Okay, roll me a history check. I'll make the DC fairly low because you are someone who is in the know.
19.
You know what? Don't even worry about it. Yeah, dude. I can tell you, I'm gonna give you two options. I can tell you the name of the person who is in charge of all of this if you want to go straight to the top, or at least your perception of the top. Otherwise, probably within the barracks, if you asked around, you know that there is one of Hradan's fellow knights called Sir Kresimir is someone who is like a very popular knight similar to Hradan and does know and is very familiar and well liked among most of the soldiery. And the person in charge would be Vlada Rybakov, who is the head of the city watch, known as the Watchmaster.
Yeah, she's taking this to the top. She's going to Vlada.
Valid. You roll me a persuasion check with advantage due to your highborn nature.
So that's a nat 20, so it's a 25.
Ooh.
Where is my bestie?
Hey guys, like I said, it all balances out in the end. Level 3, didn't need to barter with anyone, right to the top. You very quickly walk up to one of the soldiers, and with all of the confidence of someone who organized a meeting 2 years ago that you forgot about, you demand to see the Watchmaster. And this soldier very quickly, oh yes, of course, my lady, awkward bow because he doesn't know what to do, and very quickly leads you further up towards the barracks and the offices, and leads you into the much more lavish section of the barracks where the various battle masters and watchmasters live. The battle master of the army is the most successful of them. He actually has a place to live within the Towers of the Blade. Occasionally when people get mad at him, he has to go live at the barracks again, but right now he's in their good graces. But you make your way over to the one with the nameplate of the Watchmaster on the top, and the soldier very quickly opens it. Presenting Lady Amal Deloon Denak. He leaves very quickly. It's like, I fucked it. I'm out. And sort of, you see a woman, very stern-looking woman, who has pieces of her armor already taken off that have kind of been left off to the side. You can see that there is a small, probably 13-year-old boy, Squire, who is currently helping remove her armor as she is sitting holding a glass of wine and reading a book. And the City Watch have a certain reputation around the town. They are the folks who couldn't get into the army and are more so You know when like people try to become cops and they don't pass the test, so they become like security guards instead? That.
Yeah.
And they are often criticized for being extremely lazy, greedy, and cruel, because they're the ones who like to collect protection payments from small businesses. But she sips her wine and looks up. Oh, she puts it down. Adjusts some things on her desk and shoos away the boy. What can I help you with, Miss Lady?
Lady de Lunanacht, yes. I'm looking for a soldier. He is often my attendant. It is said that no one has seen him for 48 hours. Hridon.
Right. Yeah. Gotten a few notes about him. I believe he was just released about half an hour ago. He's probably holed up in the barracks somewhere. They gave him the morning off. I can get someone to fetch him for you.
There's no need. I can go to the barracks if you insist he's there. You said released. Released from where?
I believe he was under investigation for a particular... I'm not really sure. They talked to a couple of the blokes.
Wow. Did something happen? I'm sorry.
Not that I'm at liberty to know about. Sorry, my lady.
It's fine. Thank you for all your help. I'm sure you're very busy. I'll take my leave now. Thank you.
Yeah, and sorry. We've had a few notes from family members, I think, who are also... I'll let them know that he's on his way out.
Right. I can carry a message. Who else has been asking after him?
Old cobbler. Works at the scriptoria. Don't know his name.
All right. That's fine. I can let him know when I go see him. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then Amal curtsies because she knows it will make this person uncomfortable.
You leave. And you immediately kind of like, as you leave, she like comes out and pulls the soldier in and goes, "What the fuck didn't you warn me?" And just starts like yelling at this guy as you make your way out. And are you just walking straight into the soldiers' barracks? This is giving very like a high school movie when the girl like walks into the men's changing room and it's just like, "I need to speak to you." Come through Cinderella's
And that's
story.
exactly her energy.
Period. But waiting for you, it's like waiting for rain in this drought. Useless and a waste of time. What a film! Anyways,
Come on, Hilary Duff.
Come on, Hilary Duff. Make it work, bitch. Alright. You quickly make your way through the winding walls. You kind of get confused glances, but no one is brave enough to ask you why you're here. You're carrying on that natural 20 persuasion. You are walking like you are a woman who knows exactly where she's going. And I think as you walk, there is one or two people who recognize you. Roll me a perception check.
That's a 7.
It's a 7. There are a few murmurs and whispers, but you don't quite pick up on what they're saying. Radan, where and in what state does your lady find you within the barracks in your assigned, generously given resting period?
Hridon is splayed on the floor, back leaning against the wooden frame of his bed. It took all of his strength to walk here. Ridan, in the moments since, got up from the dungeon and insisted on walking himself all the way back to his barracks. No one will see the blooming jackal fall. No one will see the blooming jackal scarred. At least for now. And as he is splayed onto the floor, he's like half armored, half unarmored. He's beginning to peel off pieces off of himself. I think he pulls in his scars a little bit from all of the kerfuffle, and we see a bit of blood begin to drip down his face, and he is covered in sweat. He looks horrible.
I think before you see this, Amal, you come across Hadan is popular enough that he's earned himself private quarters, which is how he is able to kind of haul himself away. But as you kind of approach what you've been informed to be his door, you see that there is two other like half-armored soldiers outside who are kind of leaning against the door, having given up on their ceaseless knocking. One of them, a woman, has what looks like a healer's kit under her arm and a look of complete and utter frustration. And the other you recognize to be Abram, who is just kind of staring ahead, looking frustrated. But they notice you and both of them kind of straighten. My lady, I'm sorry I did not send word.
It is all right. I've clearly found him, haven't I? In what state is he?
We do not know. He won't let us in.
Well, he is stubborn, but this is a problem that I can fix. Can you hand me your healing kit? I will handle it from here. I will take care of him, I promise.
They kind of nod and hand over the healing kit, and the woman, Dorina, sort of, thank you. They seem very readily willing to leave him in your care. They trust you. They kind of make their way out, occasionally glancing back, but wanting to respect their fellow soldiers' decisions.
I think with a seriousness, she knocks on the door, but still, as a lady, she announces herself.
Leave me, Abram.
It is Lady Delunanoct. I do not wish to order you to open the door, so I will ask first.
My lady, I am in no state. You hear shuffles of metal and you hear the creaking of what sounds like heavy furniture. And then a wooden slat moves and the door opens.
And you see what was
And you
described
see
earlier.
your Ridan.
I'm glad you're here now, and I have this healing kit. Please sit, so I may tend to you.
And you see him kind of like hang his head, and he says, "My lady, it is not. I cannot. It's not for you to tend to me. You are of noble birth.
You deny me something?
No, my lady." And he steps back, lets you enter, before shutting the door behind him and limping towards a very simple, functional wooden chair that's right by the bedside. That you see by the way it's angled, he undoubtedly was using it to keep himself upright.
I think she starts fiddling with the healing kit. Not very familiar with doing tasks at all, but she's figuring it out. She's seen and had to patch up her brother after nights of his own drunken revelry, so she's kind of locked in, but her hands are shaking because she's never had to help Radon. Typically, it goes the other way.
Could you make me a medicine check?
Oh yeah, 19.
Hell yeah. We won't worry about hit points, but yeah. You very carefully.
I'm not at death's door.
You're fine. Very carefully, you have learnt the skills of a lady in brodery, needlepoint. You have a steady hand as you very carefully tend to his wounds and close them. Luckily, the original healing potion had stopped most of anything that could become infected quickly, or any mortal wounds that could bleed out. But certainly, Radon has not been given the privilege of recovering this with any beauty, at least according to those who would have a cruel eye. The scars on his face will remain for the rest of his days, and his body will remember the pain even after it recovers. But at least for now, under your gentle care, some of that pain does subside, and with a little bit of food, definitely something with sugar in it, some of your energy does come back. At least enough that you know that as long as you keep your wounds clean, you're going to survive.
And through survival, we grow strong. That's the Mulmaster way. But as you are tending to him, after he's had some sugar in him, and after a long period of quiet, he'll say, "Have you heard from Milady Greysteel?"
I have not, but I know of her husband and what has occurred. I was told that you were under investigation.
Is that what they're calling it? Based off Sir Greysteel has allegedly allied himself with the Zhentarim and fled Mulmaster.
From your perspective, Amal, and also Radon's, as people who have lived here their entire lives, and all that they know of the outside world is what they have learnt from the people around them. The Zhentarim is the boogeyman. They are the army across the sea that destroyed Mulmaster's navy like it was nothing. They are the ones currently corrupted by Cyric. They are the ones who defeated Mulmaster in battle many times. They are the most powerful kingdom on the Moonsea, and they would like nothing more. According to you, and according to history, to invade Mulmaster and kill every single woman and child and man that got in their way, and beat you down until you were part of their web. And having a blade, someone who knows the High Blade himself intimately, the ins and out of the government, this is like worse than Watergate. This is bad. This is real bad.
I thought he was a mentor to you, that we could trust him. Did you have any inkling, or?
No. No. I know nothing. He...
And
True.
Lana?
I don't know. My lady, I don't know.
Well, this, you are being tended to. You will be better soon. A noble spot has opened up, and I will take it, and we will be safe. We just have to accelerate plans a little bit, and I'm sure they're making sense of it somehow. Right?
Ridan's fingers trace against the scar on his face. It is healed over, but it burns. Something in that magic, something in their implements feels like it's scorching the inside of his skin. And Ridan hears you talk about your campaign, and he flicks his eye up. My lady, you will be even more scrutinized than you were before. Your proximity to me,
I'm certainly not leaving you behind for this. That wouldn't make any sense. People, you and I, we're a pair. People expect to see a pair. Why would... This wasn't because of you. It was because of Lord Greysteel. You're just ill right now. Just don't worry.
You've never seen him like this. You've never seen Ridan, the blossoming jackal. He fought for everything. He's bright, and even in the most serious circumstances, he held his head high. His head is low. His eyes are glazed over. And I think a realization suddenly, sparks some life back behind his eye. My family. They might have taken my father.
They've written for you, Cobbler, from the scriptorium.
My father. They did not take him.
They asked after you. I know nothing more than that, but...
His fingers trace that scar again. And you see Hidan quietly say to you, Amal, you've never talked about his family before. He's never told you about his father, let alone that he is a cobbler, a shoemaker. And he sits there, wringing his hands before saying, my lady, if I may, I must see to my father. And if you would still have me, I will protect you from all blades, seen and unseen.
It was never a question. Please go, attend to your family, and next time I see you, I want your head high. I would not choose a bodyguard that is weak. You are talented and you are capable, and that is why you are my attendant. Go.
I am not weak, my lady. He sighs, and then you see him kind of like straighten. And before he kind of like ushers you out the door, it's so strange. Redan, who would hold your hand the entire way through, Redan, who would not stand more than 5 feet away from you, stands nearly 8 feet away from you. There is an awkwardness, a distance. But he smiles still, but the smile doesn't touch his eye. And he murmurs one more time before you exit. Be careful, my lady. Until I return, be careful.
I will. Go. Thank you.
You separate once more. Herdan, eventually, when you find the strength, you perhaps dressed in more of the clothes that would draw less attention as you make your way through the streets. You leave, avoiding the eyes of your friends. You see 2 of them want to make their ways towards you, but Abram holds them back, murmuring something about giving him time. And you make your way out towards the lower floors of the South Road Keep, where a small collection of 3 individuals have been waiting desperately for news of you. You see your father, you see an older elven woman, and you see a younger man. All kind of reminders of the time before. What do you do when you see them?
Redan freezes for a moment. He doesn't visit home as often as he should. He sends letters. Done very well from himself, but there's something that unsteadies his heart when he sees his father. So close to the keep, there's a glimmer of flash in his eye, an imagined scenario of what if they got to him before me? What if the Hawkmaster, dissatisfied with my answers, drug my father all the way from his home to the keep and went and did his way with him? My father would not survive the onslaught that that man did to me. And we see him kind of like freeze, eyes shrunk to pinpricks, before very quietly approaching the 3 of them. His father, Tanel. I'm assuming Auntie's also here.
Auntie and your childhood friend, Theo.
Theo.
You see Theo notices you first. His head hasn't stopped swiveling, eyes wide, searching for something. And as soon as he sees you, you kind of see him get to his feet, and like, whether it was going to be a shout or a demand or something, but very quickly your father's hand kind of like grabs the back of his neck in the way that the citizens know how to survive here by not bringing attention to themselves and expressing too much emotion, expressing too much weakness. And your father shuts that down very quickly. He has lived here his whole life. And Auntie, this older elven woman, at least older in your mind, but looks the same as she did when you were 2, 3. She just very carefully places a hand over her mouth and just takes a breath. Let's go. And the 3 of them just holding their breath. You'll very carefully make your way out of the keep, luckily not drawing too much attention. But it's almost as soon as you pass into the narrow streets that you feel your father's arms just wrap around you and hold you so tightly to him. Just no words spoken.
Ridan has nothing to say. He knows every sentence and flurry of words he wants to hurl at Ridan. I told you so. This is the price. It warned him all those years ago. Half-elven, poor boy from the narrow streets, elevated to a knight of Mulmaster, with his fiery hair, with his face. Sooner or later it would have brought trouble. Sooner or later scrutiny will turn to
He leans back and studies your face. It is strange to have a father that looks the same age that you do, but that has never been in the power dynamic and the love still exists, even if from an outside view you could be brothers. But your father is still fairly young for an elf. He's probably only in his early hundreds. He has lived in Mulmaster for most of his life, stayed very insulated until he met a beautiful young human woman and did what all very silly elves do and fell in love. Except he had a lot less time with her than even he had suspected. But he carefully, alongside the rest of your family, brings you back into the narrow streets of the small neighborhood where the very small population of elven people kind of huddle together in a common culture, a common understanding. There is not so much of a cultural difference between elves and humans within Mulmaster. It's just simply that elves in their long lives think differently than humans do. Humans are constantly moving, constantly ambitious, short-sighted, and endlessly ambitious. While the elves prefer their privacy, to watch from a distance, careful measurements, always careful, which is why they've survived for so long. The nostalgia covers you and holds you. The healers come and you spend an afternoon, and whether at the hand of Auntie or the hand of your father, no one asks you what happened, because they know that more information would only put themselves and you in further danger. They just want to make sure that you're okay. They heal you up the rest of the way so that you're no longer in pain. And you, for a time, allow yourself to feel a little bit safe. How does Ridan emote that? Does he cry? Does he sleep? What loosens in him?
Does he cry? Here at home? After everything? That's what he wants to do? He wants to be a boy again? He wants to fold his face into his father's leather apron and cry like he did when he scraped his knee playing with Theo. He wants to sadly emote and lean against Theo's shoulder like those many nights when they were teenagers, talking about all the young people they would court, see a future with, have crushes on. Kadan just lies in his father's arms at some point, or in Auntie's arms, or against a. I imagine there's like a. His room is untouched, and there's this patchwork blanket that's made with different squares of bits of elven culture that was made by his mother, hand sewn by his mother. And Hridan just sort of like sits down after being tended to by the rest of the neighborhood. He just kind of like sits there, exhales, and sleeps. He sleeps so much. I think for anyone who paid attention, they would see wetness in the corners of his eyes, but never sobs, never weeping, just shuddering exhales against the last memory he has of his mother, and nothing else.
Your father never leaves your side. Just gently stroking your hair, fighting his own mental battles, wondering if there's anything he could have done to prevent it, but knowing there wasn't. And we'll leave you there, as we'll move back further into the center of the city. As Ralligan, you lead Rune and his manager, Lucia. Where are you taking them?
Very, very reluctantly. She sees no other option for secrecy other than taking them back to her own offices, which are sacred to her in a very, very specific way, not because they are at the altar or because of any proximity to the temple, but because in there she is fully under control. As they enter through into the hallways and come into her office, what they are greeted with is what initially seems like life, but is absolutely not. Because in this painstaking room where there is very simple furnishings, a desk, a workstation, a very meager bed, every discernible shelf and stand is covered with very, very, very realistic, precise taxidermied creatures. They are not in any kind of like dance of power. They are exactly as that animal should be as they exist in the wild. As they all enter, she opens the door and turns and faces very seriously, "Do not touch anything."
Quite the menagerie. Ralligan, as grateful as I am and my manager is, I'm sure, for this unexpected but very welcome charity. I have a rehearsal that I am just dying to get to. I really must be going, though it was a pleasure to see your hobbies and your wonderful temple. I, as I say, must be going.
She
Bye-bye.
stands up, walks up, closes the door. "When I say you can, you can. We have to discuss."
See then.
I can offer water,
Did you say tea?
and that will
Sorry.
be
Well, that's just cold,
Tea?
flavorless. Yeah, fair enough.
You will
Speaking of
sit.
tea, sorry.
And she gestures you at the most empty stool.
Ooh, I feel like royalty. He'll plonk himself down. And look to his manager, kind of Lucia, like, are we meant to? What? This is not really what I had imagined my day going like.
Lucia seems completely lost.
Yeah.
Ralligan, from your perspective, you're aware of Rune having information. You have no idea who this bitch is. Like, whether she's connected to this or absolutely not. She currently is a little bit of a witness you might want to not kill, more send on her way.
Please don't kill my manager.
Yeah.
Oh, I understand. I understand completely now, Religan. And he starts to. Do you have a pen at all? They took everything off me when I was imprisoned.
She reaches into her workstation, and you can probably see from where you are that in just the one drawer, there is one ledger and one quill. It is the only one she has, and she picks it up. Pauses before she gives it to you. Hands it over very reluctantly.
He will whip some parchment, and everyone knows where this is going.
Yeah.
And sign his autograph and hand it back. Now, now I think I will be on my way. And he gets up once more.
I know.
So, this is very enjoyable for Zach the player.
I know, right?
She crumbles it immediately into her hand.
You know, people pay a lot
And then
of money
puts
for-
it. No. I do not care for this performance. I am not paying you for a show. I am here specifically for answers, and I will have answers, whether it is from one of you or both of you. And Maddie, I would like permission to cast Zone of Truth.
Oh, absolutely. You cast Zone of Truth. Rune, do you resist?
Obviously. Absolutely.
Lucia will also resist.
Are you kidding?
This is
No.
the
Also,
Moon
this
Sea.
Also, this will absolutely by
What
no
was
means
the
be the
DC
first time
for
this
that?
happened.
Sorry?
What was the DC?
The DC is... It's just a charisma saving throw.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the details on there.
Okay.
Oh, like your
it's a
save
14.
DC?
There we go.
14.
Am I okay to use my trait, Do You Know Who I Am? Which gives me advantage on charisma checks.
Yeah, sure.
Excellent.
Lucia actually does succeed. She rolled pretty good. And
See if I
she
get a
just goes
better
like,
one.
all right, this seems illegal.
Yeah, Rune got way above the, what was the DC, 13? Did you say?
13.
Yeah, he passed.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, I see. Not the first time, won't be the last. However, I can see that you desperately want whatever I have in here. I can assure you I am but a performer in this wonderful moon sea, though I have ruffled some feathers along the way. Sorry to the Banites, that was not my plan. Is it possible? And he looks to Lucia like that.
Lucius looking at you with a face that says, we're in a Banite church.
Right. It was honestly such a performance. They loved it. Banites, big fan. Yes, lots of let's. So Lucy,
Look.
like,
Look. I have been in this city longer than you have drawn breath. Don't make me explain to you how this works. I am here for a conversation. I require nothing further of you unless you should prove useful. And should you prove useful, know that it is not a compliment, it is just a fact. Will you at least, in my own offices, give me the courtesy of sitting back down?
Lucius sits.
You think I'm young?
Shut the fuck up. Sit
Oh,
down.
he will sit. Bear in mind, like I'm in my late 30s. That was delightful to hear. Thank you.
For
Yes.
context,
Very
Ralligan
well.
is in her mid to late 40s. So you are
Excellent.
young.
Oh, great.
It's
Oh, okay. By like a few years, give and take.
Shut
Okay.
up.
You know, as my wonderful savior and of the day, I will of course give you the courtesy and talk whatever business you wish to discuss.
I think it should only be right, given that I am the only reason you are outside of bars at this present moment. But it is fine. Every law that bends for the right person, whether you prove to be that or not, proves that that law was insufficient. Anyway, I do not, again, want the performance. Tell me why you are in my city.
And he looks to Lucia again, like, I am here to perform for the city of Mulmaster as a traveling performer. I'm not quite
we're on
sure who you
tour,
think I am.
and like Lucia takes out the papers where she kind of puts a
So
poster on the table that is you see like several dates have been written, and it seems like they are touring almost the entire Moonsea, other than Hillsfar. They're doing this thing where they don't really let anyone in, but they're going like fully around. You do see the dates that it looks like Rune is going to be putting on this show, and they're doing a stint for about a month, and the opening night was last night.
He jingles his bells. Ta-da!
She takes a beat. Again, mostly still, but you can see now that that stillness is just full tension of the entire body. And it is like, if anybody else was in this situation, it would be like the hands quivering kind of frustration. She has schooled herself long enough to not have that be her initial instinct. I am aware of your little performance. And she's going to turn to Lucia.
Lucio.
Lucia. Yeah,
And
like
address
St.
her.
Lucia.
Lucia.
Yeah.
You are the manager. You are in charge of this actor.
Technically, I work for him.
I'm not very
There
good
were-
with paper.
This surprises me very little.
Yeah, fair.
Look, I am seeking a specific person, the details of which I cannot and will not convey to you until you have actually, proven yourself to not be just a waste of my time. As an
I see.
actor, you are multiple people. You are whatever person you are called to be on that evening. Today, I call you to be as truthful and as watchful as one can be. I would like an arrangement. I would like information, and I would like you to come, and whether it is post-show, I don't care what you do in your downtime. Something tells me it's not going to be particularly impressive. I would like you to return here, and we'll continue having discussions until I am satisfied. Are you amenable to this arrangement? given, again, I am the only reason that you are not behind bars right now.
Radigan, I will gladly come to you with a fine vintage. I'm sure we can chat the night away as soon as my performance is done.
Speaking
It might help
of...
if I... Sorry. It might help if I knew exactly who you were in the context of you wanting something from me. I appreciate exactly what you did for me. Of course, we both are. But why?
As the last rites administer for the city of Mulmaster, it is my will that decides whether or not I wait or if I witness. In this circumstance, what I have found is a means to an end justifies distasteful acts. And while I do not wish to bend the law any further, I found it more valuable to have you here rather than administering the rites prematurely.
Again, I am grateful. I too believe that I would be of more value with my head attached to my shoulders. But that still doesn't really answer my question. Why me?
Look, what I am looking for is not something I choose to advertise. The wrong person knowing changes every variable, and I have planned everything to the minutia. Your information has been granted. You are to be my eyes. You are to perform as you see fit. But when I call for you, you will have conversation with me. And you'll understand in time why I have been careful about what I will show you and when I will show you. And you'll be grateful for the scraps of information that I give you in the meantime.
He will nudge Lucia with his leg ever so slightly to try and which to Rune, this is just like a sign to get up, maybe draw attention.
Mm-hmm. She kind of okay, look, lady. Like I said earlier, we really need to get we're happy about all of it. You know, we agree completely. We're totally fine with all of this. And she kind of like leans forward and puts her hands on the table and it's just like, and I'm sure we could continue this incredible conversation, but we do actually really need to get to a rehearsal.
So be it. I She's very unused to not getting her way. Even as this is happening, her entire being is just... If anyone asks...
Oh, sorry.
No. If anyone asks what we discussed your tax. You have paid it in full. We discussed only this, nothing else. Practice saying it until it sounds true. I sense you'll need most of the rehearsal for that.
Oh no, I'm a pretty good actor. I saw all in there. And as he gets up, as he brandishes a his hat as a big like ta-da, as I am quite the actor, that quill of ink is gone off the table. Poof. Everywhere.
I'm gonna get a rag, and
suddenly
Lucha kind of like sprints out the room to like go find something to clean this up with, leaving the two of you alone.
Straight over. Can I have a quick glance at the ledger and around just to get a real sense of who this person is?
Yeah, roll me.
Can I? Yeah.
Roll me perception or
like
investigation.
Ah. You got it. 22.
22. You glance down. Steph, what do you think he would see from a cursory glance?
So in that ledger, from that you would see not only a very painstakingly written, printed, perfect handwriting, list of names, list of dates. Not only that, there is also a numerical value tied to every animal listed in that ledger too. Every single death that she has borne witness to is noted. And there are some kind of almost symbols that she's written next to some of them. Every single one not crossing over another line, every single one very specifically drawn. And when there are ones that you can see that have been removed, they are clean line, basically just as precise as humanly possible. It is a log of names, animals, and deaths.
Would I know any of the names, Maddie?
Looking through the names listed and witnessed, you don't necessarily see anything in particular, but one does jog your memory. One of the people who usually works with you guys and is the scout who usually goes ahead to get the theater set up. He is a bit of a loner, likes working within the troupe, but does like to travel alone and spend time alone. He has a habit of like walking around the city, maybe in places he shouldn't be, and you were aware that he had given you guys the okay and gotten everything set up, but you see his name on that list that he was executed yesterday.
What is the name? Unless you're about to.
His
There it is.
name
Sorry,
is...
I need names.
His name is Fenric, Fenric, Tinnery, Tinnery, Fenric Tinnery. A like half elven man. He bit of a ranger. He kind of is one of the people who, yeah, he's like a little bit of a freelancer, but he's good at what he does. He's almost like the like production coordinator core. He goes ahead and gets everything set up, all the nitty-gritty stuff.
Now, why would he be of importance? Ralligan, you old badger. Okay, let's make a swift exit. As and he says, until this evening, then, Ralligan.
Lucia kind of comes back and presses a cloth into the ground and very quickly cleans up the mess and carefully puts it away and puts the quill back. So sorry.
Come, Lucia.
Leave it. I will.
Coming.
I will handle
She
this.
scrambles
And
out.
Actor, I want you to know before you leave that I don't enjoy this. I do want you to know that, but if you do not meet me when I next call, I will see you back in a cell and I will not lose sleep over it. So let's call this an agreement and not revisit the distinction between what I am actually saying.
Signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours.
And as you head out, and Lucia kind of gives you a wide-eyed look of like, what the fuck did we get ourselves into? The two of you quickly make your way back to the theater where you can be surrounded by relative safety. But we will break away from that, and just before we wrap for tonight, because we are at the 3-hour mark, we are gonna just come back for a breath to Verlaine and Jasper. As Jasper straightens. That's coming from the retreat.
Maddie, can I ask you a very quick, very vague question?
Of course.
The thing that my new best friend asked me to do some days ago,
Mm-hmm.
would I be correct in my assumption that that was done
Yeah,
not that long ago?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, seconding. Thank you so much. I think Verlaine kind of stares in that direction, and Jasper, like, knowing them as well as he does, will see that, like, the wheels are turning more than they should be turning to process what's happening. And she hesitate, like, there's a moment of very visceral not quite knowing what to do. And then she will kind of tear her eyes away and turn back to them and just, I should, it's probably nothing to concern yourself about, but I'll go. You go back to your, whatever it is that you do. And,
There are people in trouble, Verlaine. We just saw cloaked horses. Shit, they don't have any... They barely have a guard.
It's...
Fuck.
Jasper. Go. I will handle it or something. I don't know. There are people there who are very capable. There are casters. I will go join them, but I won't be able to focus on anything if you're heroically throwing yourself into whatever is happening. So you go back. I'll go do something. I don't know.
Why are you lying to me?
I'm not lying to you.
I'm gonna go, but it's to get more people.
Fine. Okay. Just, and I think Verlaine, like, hesitates, and there's this, like, instinct to, like, hug them or initiate some sort of, like, hand on the shoulder, and all of it is just, like, it feels like too much, and so I think the only thing that Verlaine can sort of manage in this moment is she just sort of, like, very gently puts the toe of her boot beside his, kind of, like, comfortable in the distance that the leather on both of their boots kind of separates them, and just stands there for a minute and just, all right, well, be safe.
There's a glance back. He'd always been a very perceptive person, and there's a slight tinge of confusion and betrayal as he kind of turns, and he doesn't even have his bow on him. What the fuck is he going to do running in?
Right.
And he knows these surrounding lands so well, and you just see him take off back towards where, you know, most likely taking a back hidden route back to his mysterious boss. What do you do?
I think Verlaine watches him kind of, like, disappear from her sight, and she spends like a good minute and a half just sort of standing there going, what the fuck am I supposed to do? The instructions were not clear. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about this. And I think after just like half a second of like looking in the direction that they're going, looking in the direction of the retreat, she just like sighs and she will kind of like going like a little bit tenser than you'd think a wizard of her skill should for a first level spell. She will kind of brace for the pain that she knows is coming and cast mage armor on herself, and then I will kind of run in that direction of the retreat.
You quickly move in, making sure to keep your distance and your eyes wide. You carefully... You see the trail of blood very quickly. And you kind of shuffle yourself around to see two men, the others still within the building, standing over a short, quivering man. Someone you recognized as being a newcomer into the retreat. He, is staring up at them, and as his head and bandages fall down, you see the bald head and the dark inked tattoos that mark his head. And the one in front kind of very casually cocks his head, looking down at the pathetic creature in front of him. And just carefully grips up his hand and wraps it around a red-bladed dagger and plunges it into his own stomach and lets him drop. He sniffs and cracks his head. Hop to it, will you? We can't have any witnesses. Maybe we should, I don't know, burn down a few buildings. Is that what wizards do? I don't know, sir. Oh, not helpful. And the one who seems to be in charge turns around and you see a man in his early 30s, an eye patch covering his eye, a scar up his cheek, longer, dark hair. As he kind of looks around, very comfortable in the massacre that is currently taking place within the retreat. You know that a confidence like this comes with immense power. This isn't a fight you're going to win, and this is an inevitability that you're not going to be able to face. What do you do?
You think that Verlaine, kind of keeping to the shadows a little bit, takes a second to... I think a lot of her is sort of preoccupied with kind of like rifling through the like 2.5 sentences that she was given of information on this, and it comes up short every time to understand what the fuck is going on. And with that knowledge, but also knowing power when she sees it, and not really being fully certain that her new friend is a mutual friend necessarily, I think Verlaine instead kind of like makes a decision that hurts, but not as much as it would hurt to stay here and face that kind of power and lose twice. And so I think Verlaine kind of steps back into the shadows. Do I feel like I can get to wherever I've been staying in the retreat to like pack a bag, theoretically?
You feel fairly confident if you gave it about half an hour. They'll probably clear out and you should be free to head inside.
Do I think that Jasper would likely be back before half an hour?
You know that he is, especially if he's on foot, he's not going to circle back for at least 3-4 hours.
Okay. In that case, I will, I think, just very carefully, very cautious about like keeping to the shadows and kind of slipping through all the like little nooks and crannies that I've discovered in the last little over 3 years of being in exile here. I will just sort of like work in the direction of my room. Is it possible for me to sort of pass by maybe wherever Dill stays?
Yeah. Roll me a stealth check. I'm taking into consideration the chaos of this place and the fact that you're going through a section that's already been cleared.
That's an 8.
Okay. You move into your own room and collect your things. And right as you're about to head to Dill's room, your foot creaks on a floorboard. And it's not that you hear footsteps more than you know you need to fucking run. These guys are
I will
assassins.
cast invisibility on myself.
You won't hear them coming. You cast invisibility on yourself. Yeah. Suck in everything as pain, nerves racks your body as you try desperately to seize onto the concentration that you know is required to keep this spell, and you flatten yourself against the wall as melting out of the shadows, a man just appears holding 2 short swords in either hand, covered in blood. So he just appears and slowly begins stalking forward. He rolled like shit. Let's go.
Nice. Huge. Huge for me.
Roll me a history check.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty good. That's a 23.
23. At a time in your life, you were fairly successful within the ranks of the Cloaks. Meaning that you occasionally had a little bit more information than the average wizard. Usually that information was just through accidentally seeing meetings and other things. And you do recognize this man's face. He is from Mulmaster. You know that for certain because you recall Thurndal Tallwand once meeting with him. He never had any signs of being part of any guild. Completely mysterious, but you remember those eyes. A killer's eyes, completely cold, and you remember that his footsteps were so silent that it was so off-putting, whether his boots were enchanted or he was just like that. But you see this man stalk forward carefully, eyes searching. He reaches the door, opens it, glances inside. You see the room is completely untouched. The rest of them have been turned over. He closes the door and exits. You know that this, I believe, invisibility base lasts for how long?
I'm casting the normal one, which I believe is an hour. Yeah, 1 hour, unless I lose my concentration, but...
You know you should probably get out of here.
Yeah. I will kind of still trying to come to terms with the fact that there is absolutely nothing that she can do here and trying to, like, again, playing through those 3 sentences and trying to figure out how guilty she should feel about this, how responsible she should feel for this, and ultimately just sort of having to put it aside to, like, get out of here. I will kind of work my way back through those nooks and crannies and try to go back to where Jasper and I just were in the hopes that I can, like, catch him and whoever they've rallied on the road.
You make your way back. You see the moment when the 4 cloaked figures leave, riding their horses out. There was about 200 people that lived in the retreat. It took them 45 minutes to kill all of them. They ride out, and your boots covered in blood from stepping over the bodies of the people who once knew your name, and you wait for Jasper to return, wondering if that betrayal in his eyes was something that you deserved. And I think we will end our first session of Deeds of Violence here. Hey, listen, guys, it's in the name. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching our first ever session. I do hope you enjoyed. It's intrigue, baby. Get into it. What questions? Will all these people meet? I fucking hope so. It would be a bad campaign if you guys never met each other. But we will be back here next week, which is very exciting. Do stick around. We'll raid into someone, but first and foremost, we should properly go around, tell the people where they can find you, what you've got going on, starting with Steph.
I am once again back to being Steph Panicasio, and that is the only username that I really use on anything. For reference, it is like window pane Casio watch, if you're wondering. But yeah, I'm at Steph Panicasio on everything. I mostly do stuff over on Instagram and doing a lot of freak content at the moment. So come have fun with that.
Hell yeah. Zach.
Hello, I am Zach William Smith on everything. It's just my name, but don't ZAC. That's all we have, like Efron. I do a lot of TTRPG content on TikTok, Instagram. Those are the two that you can mainly find me on. I also have a YouTube, and it's just all the same videos. They all just get circled around. But go find me on there. I used to have a Switch. I should get that back up, but alas. You know.
Val.
Hi everyone, I'm Valiant Dorian. I use him as pronouns. You can find me all across the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Otsa Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. I'm an actual play performer, Twitch variety streamer, game designer, wearer of far too many hats like everybody else in the tabletop space. But you can keep an eye out on my socials for all of my various projects that I'm a part of, as well as Crit Award Journey. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed Redan. Pass it back to our game master.
James.
Everybody, you can find me most places at either Nice One James or TTRPG. If you're interested in watching me just sort of talk about LARP way too much, that's the place to find out.
Hell yeah. And Joy.
Hi, I'm Joy. You can find me everywhere at Joy X Valentine. That's Joy, the letter X, and then the word Valentine, like the day. I do stuff over there. I can't promise it's good, but it's happening.
Period. And hi, I'm Madeline. This is my channel, and thank you for joining us today. Couple of quick things. One, the link to all of these people's accounts should be either in the description of this video or in the chat. Follow all of them. They're incredible. They're amazing. Once again, a shout out to Anna Fedita for doing the incredible character art. Shout out to the sponsor of this session, The Incredible D&T. If you guys want 15% off of some truly excellent nerdy tea that comes with lore, that comes with some fun stuff to use in game. If you just like making stories, man, and a hot drink. It's winter in Australia, but hey, tea is for all of the time. Do please check them out and send them our love. They are incredible small business, ethical, all of the things that you need to know. Do support them. They're amazing. I wrote a book. You should get it. It's called Cersei's Guide to Aiaya, and it's a setting guide. If you like Percy Jackson, you should get it. It's out. Thank you to the Kickstarter backers who made it happen. I'm very proud of it. Haha. Otherwise, also, Natural 20 Tours. I'm going to be going to Ireland soon, so if you want to go to Ireland with me and play Dungeons & Dragons in person while we tour around Ireland to all of these cool places using modules that are written using real Irish folklore based on the locations that we are visiting that are written by real Irish folklore experts, do make your, what's the word I'm looking for? Do it. You can sign up for free. There we go. You can register for free your interest and list me as your preferred DM. It's a good time. Also, check out the Discord where you can talk all about how much you liked or hated this episode. You can send memes. We have a lot of chats for all different things. Join the community server. It's a good time. We'll all see you in there in a bit. Let us know what you thought. Also, always leave comments on the YouTube videos. It really helps us out. Thank you so much. We're gonna raid into someone. Say goodbye, my violent little I don't know. Bye.
Hello.
Bye.